Hi there, welcome back. This is part two of the Foiled Frost Mint deck review. I've had a few days to break the cards in and handle them and just play around with them and have a lot better idea of how they'll fan and faro and shuffle now than when they were fresh out of the box. These cards do require some breaking in. On the edges, when you first get them out of the box, they are rough, like a standard deck of bikes. You have to break them in. And now I'm glad to tell you they handle like a really nice custom deck. And they faro bottom to top or top to bottom equally well. The deck's very thin stock. It's slippery with an air cushion finish. But before we go into handling, I want to take a second to look at the cards face up. If you notice on the table, I lay down a few cards, in particular the aces. They all have jumbo pips on them, and you'll notice that they're non-standard pips. The red cards are a little bit darker coloration, a little bit deeper red. The court cards have redrawn designs, and they have a little more detail than what you get from a standard USPCC deck, like bicycles, for instance. And the color is basically red and black, two colors. And you can see on the helmet or the crown there that the king has the mint logo incorporated into the design, and that follows suit with the other court cards as well. The pips on the numbered cards, if I can turn this to get it in focus a little bit. Okay. The numbered cards have smaller than standard pips, and they are custom. They're not standard. I like the look of it overall. It's subtle. I think most people would not notice the difference between this and, say, a standard deck of bikes on the faces only. Of course, if you flip them over, then obviously they stand out. But as far as faces go, nothing too elaborate, and they look like a lot of custom cards face-wise with the redrawn aces. Other than the mint logo being incorporated, I've seen similar designs. The thing I want to really point out on face-up cards is the mint ace of spades. Now, if you can look at this, the signature mint spade on the Foiled Frost edition, the outer band is a little darker and grayer than some of the standard decks. It doesn't have the frost, the foil on it. Instead, it's kind of gray looking. And the reason for that was not a cost-cutting measure, but a technical limitation. I'll go into that in a minute. First, I wanted to just kind of show you what the cucumber mints look like for comparison's sake. The back design, green, shows up on that outer band, and that matches up. See if I can change the lighting a little bit. Hopefully you can see the difference. Okay, let's look at the backs. As I mentioned, the ace of spades does not have the custom foil included on the face. I was a little disappointed by that, but I understand why they did it. And the reason is that some of the foil on the cards is thicker on certain cards than it is on others. If you look, you'll see that some of the dots on these are completely filled in. The foil is kind of seeped into where the white should be showing, and it looks quite a bit thinner on other cards. It's not something you're going to notice a lot if you're fanning, but if you're just really, spreading and picking apart the design, you will notice that there is some inconsistency to the application of the foil on the back. And I'm pretty sure that's why you don't get that incorporated here. Don't think it would have taken very well. Could be wrong, but that's my guess. As far as the handling goes, after playing around with them for a few days, I can tell you that I really like the way the color dances around on the back design. Uh, if you do cardistry and could incorporate that into the movement of the cards, I think that would look pretty great. I do not do cardistry, do simple, very simple things. The pharaohs now are coming together, going from top to bottom. No difficulty in pharaohing whatsoever. And they feel good. They feel like like other thin crush stock decks. Particularly the Views times Illusionist also features crushed B stock. And I've had a deck of those for a couple months that I've been using, and so far I haven't had any issues with them just falling apart. They still are resilient and they handle well. Since it's the same stock that the cards are printed on, I'm hoping that that will hold true and that the cards will continue to perform well. However, playing cards are playing cards. If they fall apart in time, then I can always open another deck, I guess. Although with these cards, that's an expensive proposition. And for those of you who own these decks and are thinking about opening them and are wondering if it's worth it, it depends on, of course, what you bought them for. If you're simply a reseller that's looking to turn a profit, then you'll already pretty much know you're not opening these. If you are, however, someone who likes to handle cards and just likes admiring really nice custom decks, then, I say go ahead and open them, use them. It's not going to be the end of the world if a few more of these decks get opened up and played with. And, they do look nice. You're going to get your money's worth out of them. And I have 2 of these decks and won't hesitate to open the second deck if this one wears out in time. I hope that we get another foiled deck when the version 3s come out. I wouldn't complain if they were the green cucumber, maybe a borderless deck. I like borderless cards more than bordered cards for, fanning, and really I like them better for card table work as well. I prefer borderless cards, and these look really great in fans and pretty much anything you're doing. They look good. So if you own a deck and you're nervous about opening and using them, I say just, take the plunge, and nothing ventured, nothing gained.